Welcome to the No Name Brand Podcast. My name is Sashka Hanarapal, actress, singer, dancer, turned brand marketing, sales, and advertising strategist who brands your soul. And each week I bring you an inspiring person or message to help you discover your undergod, turn up your leadership notches, challenge the status quo, because you're fast and furious with a powerful message to share with the world. Thank you for taking time out with me today, and without further ado, let's get our creative and wisdom juices flowing. Movers and shakers of the world, how are you today? It's so fantabulous having you back here with us. And a big thank you to all those who've PM'd me to let me know how much they appreciate the podcast and the incredible movers and shakers I've been interviewing. You know, that means so much to me. So keep that feedback coming because I love hearing it. It motivates me. Today's guest is a warrior. And as a warrior, he knows that his cause is greater than himself and he fights for those results. And add to that, super clever, quick, and imperfect. Just like his favorite animation, Mr. Fox. His biggest dream was to be a skateboarding legend, which he is today, minus the official legend. And he creates tribes that transform people's realities through video. He's super passionate about helping people exist and shine. And even more, understanding the simplicity of communication and its validity in video. Now, he's created video marketing awesomeness for online and offline superstars, such as Gary Vee, Kimra Luna, and more. And today, I'm super pumped to be interviewing our next guest. Get ready, because he has an incredible amount of knowledge and a huge dose of humbleness. Put your attention together for the one and only Nik Koyama! Hello, Nik!
Ooh, it's like you're not even calling me in. I'm like turning around, like, where's he at? Thank you for having me.
And the crowd goes wild. How the heck are you, dude?
I know you probably get asked this all the time, but are you the one who writes those, or how's that happen?
Yeah, I'm the one that writes him.
That was amazing.
Oh, cheers, thanks, mate.
You're in the right field.
Yay! This means a lot. This means a lot. Thank you, honestly.
Yeah, no, we're just talking how you don't put out enough video, but that's okay. I think you found your cadence.
It's all coming together. You watch all the things that Nik does as well, and then you're scrolling through your newsfeed and you go, oh, Nik just motivated me to do something. Yes, I'm going to do that.
Nice.
Dude, so I've been following you, like I said, for quite a while now, probably over a year now. You happen to just pop into my Facebook group and I'm like, who's this dude? Millennial, and he's got so much information and so humble and so much cool stuff to share with us. So I want to dive right in. Now, you've been filming since you were 7 or 9 years old?
I got my first camera when I was 7.
When you
started working with businesses when I was 9, yeah.
Unbelievable. So what inspired you to film, and what was your first camera?
Well, I wanted to be a skateboarder, professional skateboarder. And skateboarding, you're kind of made fun of if you don't have film, because if you don't have film, you're kind of just someone who claims they can do what they do. So there's actually like a little saying called footy or it never happened. So yeah, basically, if you want to get sponsored and work with companies, you need to make films. So I started making films, not because I actually didn't really, I think I kind of liked video, but it definitely wasn't what I was into. I was more into skateboarding. And then my mom bought me a Sony Handycam in Christmas when I was 7. Super fun.
How cool is that? And then you start filming. Now, filming is one thing, but an understanding of editing and putting all those ideas that you've shot into sequence with impact, that's not something you learn at 9 or at 7. So are you self-taught? How did you perfect your love of the editing? Because that's an art on its own.
Yeah, Sashka, I think the real the real breakthrough was actually not the production or the post-production, it was the pre. So understanding what videos need to get made, understanding why they need to get made, kind of the purpose happening behind the videos, before the videos, was the real thing. And that is absolutely something I learned when I was 9, and something that a lot of people can learn really easy. So for me, like, I realized that, like, with skateboard videos, if you wanted to get sponsored, you had to sell products. So you had to like wear t-shirts and stuff. But a misconception is that a good skate video is just trick after trick after trick after trick, right? But what I found actually sold stuff was when I showed myself falling, or I showed myself walking into a skate park, or drinking certain juice, stuff that kind of humanized me. And that is when I kind of not only realized the kind of power of video, but is when I started connecting to other people, to the Tony Hawks and the people who put out skate videos where you can actually get to know them. And then that's when I started actually working with companies. So I got my first sponsor when I was 9. It was for a company called Fuel It, and they were an energy drink company. I was on their clothing line, and I made some clothing t-shirt commercials. It was really cool.
It is so cool. I know my 9-year-old, actually my 11-year-old, they're so keen to get onto YouTube, like so keen. And I'm like, I've got a gazillion ideas. And then I tell them these ideas and they're like, no, that's too much work. I'm like, are you serious? Like, it doesn't just come from nothing. Like, you have to put some work in.
It's so crazy how YouTube and just influencers altogether is like the new, what do you say, actor or superstar celebrity. It's very cool.
Yeah, I was just happened to be working, because I don't normally do it, but I'm like trying to just be a little bit more with my kids as well. So I was on the laptop and they were watching Nickelodeon's Kids' Choice or something to that effect. There's some YouTube stars on there. And whilst they would mention the names, I went onto YouTube and I looked at them and I'm like, the hell? What are they? They got like millions of followers. And I'm like, are you kidding me? This? It's like, maybe I should do this.
Yeah, no, I love it. I tend to love it because I guess I'm one of those people that like the power with the people, right? So instead of having to get on the channel, you can have it like, you just sign on to YouTube. I think that's really cool. I think it's kind of weird sometimes when you like look at what people watch. It gives opportunities like you, Sashka, to have your own little tribe, right?
Yes.
And we all get to like hang out together. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what do you feel are the biggest video mistakes entrepreneurs are making today? And how would you love to fix it?
Good question. I think one big mistake is perfection in 2 ways. One is people feeling like they need to be and talk perfectly, I think is a big one. One of the hard things with video is that you can edit it. So then people get in this mindset of, oh, I'll just edit it or I'll redo it or da-da-da-da-da. And then you become kind of what I would call synthetic, which is not your true self in the true now form, if that makes sense. But then you have the problem with people editing, so people are editing themselves and they're editing the footage, right? And those are kind of the problems where people like kind of have to feel like they have to be perfect. And I would try to fix that by trying to help a lot more people go live.
Oh.
Yeah. I think live is a good cure to people's kind of self-confidence, I guess. I've seen it a lot. I've seen live.
That's true. That's so true. Yeah. I mean, you go live a lot. So you're just like very natural, because a lot of people don't feel it's a natural thing because Facebook's replacing TV and YouTube and everything. So it's and series and stuff. So it's you go on and live and you kind of like, oh my God, I'm live. Like, what the hell? Like, is that a zit thing? Oh, fuck.
Exactly. Well, it's funny because I think in a perfect world, we would like get good at live before we went live. You know what I mean? But it's a very common misconception. Like you have to go live and make videos and put them out, mainly put them out. You don't get good at videos until you put them out, which is like a secret part of the equation that we kind of uncovered. And so once you just do it, then you get good. It doesn't come before. So you kind of get stuck in this paradox unless you just start taking action.
It's so true.
But there's plenty of things to live. And everybody's life is interesting. I find that interesting. I met this kid who lives in his parents' house in Delaware, and it kind of not great weather all the time. And he kind of just sits there and he's not really close to his parents. He's like stuck. But even through my life, which sometimes I don't think is interesting, he has not just an escape, but an adventure. We all have a different life, right? So we think it's boring, but it's because we've normalized it. And it could actually be very interesting and relationship building for other people, because the average person is not that interesting.
That is so true. That is so true. I was just happened to be I don't know if I pronounced his name right, Casey Neistat, whatever.
Yeah.
Cool. I was watching some of his videos, and one of his first videos was with his brothers, a TV series for HBO. And it was a reality show then, but they were pulling out the aspects of their life and making a story out of that. And I'm like, oh, what a cool idea. What? Hello? Like, it's so obvious. Entrepreneurs usually have a hard time figuring out how to put together a script. So not necessarily word for word, but just like Casey Neistat, whatever. The setup, the conflict, and the solution. Share with us how you can help, or what you suggest they can get out of, how they can get out of this funk to create a video with content that excites them and gives them joy, which then comes across in the videos as well. Because you just don't know what to say. Like, yes, there's a lot of content, but what do I say?
So as you know, Sashka, a lot of the times I kind of work with people who have never done video, and I found like a lot of interesting things that happen. One is that it's hard to convince people they're interesting, even if you give them the system. So I can give you the system that I've given people, but what I think is more interesting is what happens when you have people, when they're learning videos, make videos for other people. or make videos that point outwards, like say you go on a walk, and you start realizing the power of video. Because the power of video isn't just to entertain, but it's to share your reality. And in order to get encouraged to do that from a personal level, sometimes you got to share it outwardly, and that's completely fine. So what I would recommend as a little exercise, if you're going to start editing a video, edit a video for somebody else, maybe walk into a flower shop or a cool park or go on a walk and make a video outward. And it's going to excite you because you're bringing people into that moment, you're cutting around, you're adding music, and it'll naturally, the camera will just naturally, as if it was its own thing, start flipping its way towards you. And you're going to want to share your thoughts on that moment, or you're going to be a character in that moment. So the real thing is, instead of creating a story, start realizing life is a story, and you can decide when you want to bring people into it.
That is so cool. See, you're a genius. You're just a freaking genius, man.
Come on.
Don't be so humble or so modest. Not humble. Don't be so modest, because it's true. So listen, I was reading on your website, thevisualera.com, that you create video business cards. Now, I couldn't find an example. What's this all about? Why is this so fantastic?
Did you not watch my video business card?
I watched yours. So that's what the video business card is.
Yeah, it's kind of, I mean, let me ask you this. Do you feel like you understood a little bit of my company after watching that?
I did. It was actually I was like, oh, where do I sign up?
Yeah, right. So yeah, that's what my company does. We create 4 video business cards a month for clients. And yeah, we love it. So basically, the video business card is something I created as a way of fixing a couple problems. One is there's a lot of terms out there in video, because I kind of got to bring you back just a second.
Do it.
So the kind of enemy of our business is the video industry, because normal video people kind of aren't trained to serve small businesses or businesses at all for that matter. They're not trained in marketing. And when I say trained, when you go to professional video school, filmmaking school, you're not trained in business. Yeah, you're not trained in like the inner workings of how to use video to actually do any of these things. And you're not trained how to work independently or work cheap or any of that. So with that said, there's a lot of videos being made for companies that are rather not accomplishing enough or not accomplishing much at all. And I saw the company video, the About Us video, all these videos kind of not completing a full task. So what I created was the video business card, which is like the full 360 kind of tour of a video, I guess, from a business side and a products, but also emotionally. So you go through on this roller coaster, and it's like a 2-minute video that companies can use in dozens of different ways. And I've designed mine for my agency to come with a marketing plan. And that marketing plan is designed to double the efficiency and revenue of a business in 18 months if it's attacked aggressively. So it's just this video that does a lot of cool things for businesses.
That is so
and you should have one.
I should have one. I saw that you can only apply to work with you. So what kind of clients are you looking for? What kind of soul clients are you looking for?
Here's the thing. I've been very humbled by businesses. I believe business is kind of like the key to changing the world. Because if you kind of look at what it takes to make an impact, you have to serve people, and businesses are like machines of service. It's a sustainable way of serving people. So I don't actually get nitty gritty on what type of business, because I think every business serves. But what I'm looking for when I'm looking through applications is somebody who knows that what they're doing is beyond the products and beyond even like the localized impact, because companies that understand how big and massive they can impact the world, even if they're a local company, especially through video, are companies I really want to work with and help accelerate. And there's so much information out there that could easily get you to believe that whoever you are, you can make a huge impact. I just look for the people who already believe it, are already executing against it, and need some assets. People who want to change the world, Saskia.
Movers and shakers, yes! Well, sometimes I think I heard a saying by somebody, and I hope I get this right. It's not that you want to change the world, you want to change the people who are in the world so that they have a world to live for and within. Ooh. And I was like, yes, that's the thing, because the world you can't change. The world is just there. It's us who's in it. But I wanted to ask, so do you only do this locally, or how do you do it then internationally? So how would I internationally be doing this with you? Sending you my own film reels and...
Yeah. So this opens up like something else, which is like me as a personal brand, because I own this agency. I do have a CEO in place. And in my personal brand, I work with influencers. So on one end, I fly constantly to work with clients who want to work with me specifically. And in that case, I'll come out and like, I'd love to do your video business card. Another thing is I run an academy called Video Warrior Academy. And it teaches video people how to grow businesses. So I'm essentially partnered with Marcus Rideout, who's like the #1 video selling coach. Okay. And we are essentially building the first group of video makers who know how to grow businesses. And what we're doing is when we get clients from around the world is we certify our warriors and connect them with other companies. So
Oh, wow.
sometimes I'll take them and sometimes I'll connect them to a warrior, because there's about, 650 of us around the world.
That's incredible. When did this start?
We started it like 14 months ago and have been building this tribe Facebook group organically from YouTube, and it's been insane. I have a CEO for that, Marcus. We actually tonight got done with our 6th week of the academy, which is the final week, and we were all cheersing and a lot of people crying, because like these thing that we're doing with these video people is beyond helping them make sales, trying to help them really make an impact, and they're all starting to feel it.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I mean, your stuff is just the free stuff. I know I've bought one thing, can't remember what it was. I think it was to do something on the phone. And the other thing was just your freebie, just information. I'm like, dude, this is legend. This is such good stuff. So you'll have to give us the link as well for the academy so that we can find out. I'd love to find out about it as well. So tell me, let's talk attention span. We all know that our attention spans are like super little, because there's so much influx that comes in daily, over 70,000 thoughts, processing everything. And videos get us into a trance. I know if there's a good video, you just kind of like, just go mind dead, brain dead or whatever. So what are the 3 tricks to capture our audience's attention from beginning to end with video?
Before the trick, the strategy. Like the intimate knowing of your audience is always key. And I know you know this, Sashka, like knowing your people is so key to knowing how to talk to them, what would trip them up. And I think a lot of us, including myself, get into this paradox or this kind of fallacy where we think we can help everyone. And that's a big problem. Okay. So like knowing who your people are is key for any of the tactics I'm about to say to work. So use with caution. Obviously, the first one's a big hook. So not just visual, but also emotional. You see this a lot. For instance, I don't know, you got the Ty Lopez, right? Who's in his garage with Lamborghinis. That's a big visual hook. And then he says something like, are you tired of sitting on your ass, like not doing anything? Boom. You got an emotional hook. You could do this by, I don't know, like ALS challenge, big hooks, like people pouring stuff on each other. You could light 100 candles behind you and just start talking. Like you could do all these weird things that would just be like, what the hell is that? Once you have their attention, then that is when story needs to be immediately injected or just massive value. So what you find is with content, what gets people really intrigued is, well, rather storytelling. Okay, so I'm not going to go over storytelling too much, but basically having a character that's out doing something, that's being challenged, whatever. But something else more interesting and more actionable is learning how to discredit people's perspectives and introduce new ones. And I found this very interesting when we tested a lot of things, is people get very intrigued when something they think is totally being challenged straight up right there. And with video, you can bring people through things and show them things instead of just challenging it verbally. So it provides for transformation when you're discrediting perspectives. So for instance, like I could hook you in like, I don't know, swing a baseball bat in slow motion at my DSLR camera, and then you'd be hooked. And I pull out my phone and I would say, you probably think videos is a hard making process and that your kids can never do it or whatever. Well, I think that's completely wrong, and let me show you how. And I could like bring you into this thing where everything you believed is being crushed. And I think people like that. They kind of like their brains being played with. And then I guess most importantly, you need a good like call to action. And I want to be clear about why. Because a lot of people think you need a call to action to get ROI. I agree. But you need call to action because your audience needs to understand how to give back to you.
Yeah.
I see people all the time giving tremendous amounts of value and never asking anything in return, and the relationships suck in their tribe. Like there needs to be some call to action. There needs to be a constant sharing and exchanging of value. So like getting really good at knowing what to ask at the end of your videos is key to actually retaining that next video, because people want to feel in relationship in exchange with you. So exactly. I would say those are the 3. So obviously purpose before you even start, right? A good hook, discrediting old perspectives, introducing new ones, and then a good CTA just for the whole relationship, not just for the ROI of a single video.
Yeah, that CTA. The CTA comes that when you're going through that process of the purpose and you're doing the whole thought process over there, when you know your soul tribe, you know what the end question is, so you know what to actually do in the CTA. And it's not just a random, go to my website to go do this, because they'll be asking, okay, well, how can I do this or when can I do that? So you know exactly what to send them to. And the other thing that's happening is that through social media, we are becoming more aware of lies that the media has told us. So we're questioning more and wanting to challenge the status quo. So those disruptors, so when things come like that, then you really want to like, is that true? I've often seen like someone will post, I can't remember, something arbitrary I saw like a few months ago, a huge tortoise or turtle, whatever, in the sea. It was huge compared to this diver. And people below were going, it's Photoshop, it's this. And I'm going, that is so fantastic, because people are starting to question the reality of things. It's not anymore, that model is so beautiful, that she's been so adobe'd, so much adobe'd, whatever, with all that Photoshop and everything. So I like that. That's really good. Disrupt, because people then start like, oh, that's a leader. That's someone that you want to actually follow.
Yeah, and that's why like people who are really good at video usually use their phones, because it's hard to like, it's not that people are, like you said, there's skepticism out there, but the phones and just hanging around with people, it's undeniably authentic. And you could still do edits. I do almost everything I put out is edited besides my lives. So there's still room for that. But hanging around on Facebook Live is very authentic. Now you just have to swallow the fact that vulnerability and authenticity is great, but like 80% of your content should actually be good. So you actually have to figure out how to make good content. But the good news is like you got authenticity in your back pocket.
Everyone has. Yes. Speaking about that, how should entrepreneurs be using authenticity and vulnerability to humanize their brands?
Yes. So I think I'd like to answer this by addressing the people who are scared to go on video. First off, there's usually two solutions. One is that understanding that your imperfections, the things that you're worried about, your stutter, whatever you kind of are worrying about, because sometimes people worry about being their authentic self. You know what I mean? They like want to be someone else. And the first thing to know is that your imperfections are the key to connecting with people, because people can't connect with perfection. So really owning that and being aware of what those things are, super key. One of my mentors, Russell Brunson, who like just talks a lot all the time, he does all this like, I don't know, but cause, and he does it on, it's not that he does it on purpose, but he's definitely aware of it, that he speaks at like 5th grade level. So it's okay and almost encouraged for you to have imperfections, just putting that out there. Second thing is that it's really, if you do this right, not about you in the first place. It's kind of about the audience. So if you can't trick yourself to like wanting to be imperfect, at least like do it for other people. Put yourself out there, because it's not about you anyways. But with that said, if you want to be authentic, do stuff live, and not just live Facebook Lives, but like if you're doing a tip video, tutorial, anything, do it interview style. This I have like has been the number one thing that has helped me help everyone else, is sitting them in a chair and saying, we're not going to script a thing. I'm just going to talk with you.
Cool.
Because I guess my philosophy is like, it takes actor grade talent to read a script and sound authentic, but anybody can answer a question. Anybody can talk about what they're passionate about. So why take yourself out of the element and just talk about what you know, but maybe prepare a little bit.
I love that. Yeah, the same. Like I always just go with the flow. I've got all my questions and everything, but I also just go with the flow, because you just never know what gold's going to come out of the interview itself. And things that you might have missed doing the research. It's like, oh my God, that's so interesting. Yes, got a target on that over there. So videos used videos used to be used for image videos. So that was always like what you'd imagine those things to be, for corporate home videos and stuff. Now it's used to document lives and thoughts and moments and vlogs. And I read that you got, what was over there, a vlogram. And when we create videos for businesses, how should we be measuring the return on investment on the videos, the views? How do we measure the sales? What should our video marketing be doing?
Sure. So just like I said, when you asked me about the ad, like what should we do to measure? First, we have to take a step back and ask, what is the purpose of this video? Because when we know the purpose, we know how to measure it, right? So a common misconception about video is that it's just a marketing tool. Although I've made videos for companies, and I'll explain one in a second, but I've made videos for companies that have completely grown companies by massive amounts without the audience ever seeing it. Okay, like without only a select few people seeing those videos. So first understand, like the way you measure videos is knowing the purpose of that video. So if the purpose is to drive sales, then you measure it by sales. Purpose is to get views, right? And you start like kind of understanding this pattern. So for instance, like the purpose of a video could be sales. Therefore, you attract the video via sales. Okay. Some videos are just strictly meant for views, because that's how you attract that, because the strategy is to retarget. So the point is to not put video as a whole medium into one box. That's the first way you measure video. So for example, I just did this project for a big company. And when I looked at their business, I kind of do these audits where I figure out what videos a business needs. And I realized that this company had, right when people joined the company, They had 20 one-hour videos that people needed to watch. Just so you know, this is an MLM company, multi-level marketing. So the whole key is to get people who join like super excited, super quick, and to get taking action and selling stuff. That was crazy. So they were on the right path because they had these assets that like kept them from having to train people. But I broke those 20 videos down into 8 2-minute videos that communicated what I felt like more than all the 20 hours of videos. And guess what happened? People went through the whole thing and all the KPIs went up. So people actually started implementing the things, and the uplines and the downlines started getting healthier, and the retainment and burn rate went down. So would you call that marketing? Like maybe that's marketing, but to me, that's like some hardcore business process stuff. So we measure that by burn rate reduction, by retention, while other videos we track by how many clicks we get, or because that's the purpose of the video.
Yeah, well, you're focusing more, it's not so much the marketing, but it's more consumer behaviorism and psychology. Like, what's the buying decision? You're focusing on how are these clients going to be buying, and creating whatever you're doing or whatever the story is in the storyline accordingly with the purpose to buy eventually, but building the know, like, trust. It's all the emotional and psychological stuff before you get video as the marketing tool. But what goes in that video is all the psychology and the buying decisions.
Sure, exactly. And some videos are never seen by the customer at all.
Yeah.
You know, it's all going on in the background, which could technically be to help the customer, right? But I like to think of video as time, money, relationships, right? It can automate anything. Basically, any moment can be turned into an automation. I used to own a coffee shop. We used to train people every Saturday to make lattes. And I thought that was crazy. We make a video how to make a latte. No, like we don't have to pay crazy amounts of money to have huge latte artists come in. Money, anywhere you put video increases conversions. It's crazy. Videos on sales pages increase conversions by like 184%.
What?
Absolutely. So like if I told you how to grow your business by 20%, you'd be wondering. And the reason like you start seeing stats like this is because think about what a sales page is without video, where you have to imagine the product. You have to imagine the connection, right? And then you put it back in, you're like, well, no wonder, right? Like you're asking people to fantasize about things when you can actually bring them into that reality and show them the product, show them the look on the testimonial's face when her whole life got changed. So there's no reason that video increases conversions. Not only that, but a video could be a product itself. So not only can it be like a good marketing tool, but it could be the product. And then lastly, relationships. Video increases relationships simply by sharing experiences in the most kind of, again, like as much like reality as possible. And it does it at scale. So you could share your life with as many people as possible, and it archives. And it's crazy when you think about it.
I love it. I could delve into this like forever. But it's coming to an end.
No, it's not. We're going to keep going. No.
Go. I could talk about this forever because it's all got to do with this consumer behaviorism. And I'm like a geek when it comes to that. Oh my God. So I ask all my guests on the show 2 questions at the end of the show. We're at the end. So I want you to fill in the blanks on your version of what creativity means for you.
So what's the 2 questions? Is that just one?
Well, there's 3 words where you're going to fill in the blanks. So this is the first question. So
creativity means to me expression.
Passion means for you?
Adrenaline, excitement.
Cool.
Sorry, I had to get 2.
Wisdom for you is?
Applied action. I'm just giving 2 words. I'm sorry.
Oh, cool. I love it. No, it's good. It's good. And the last question, how do you want to change the world or challenge the world doing what you do?
Well, I want to change the world by building tribes that'll operate much more smartly and responsibly than any one person can, including me. A lot of tribe stuff has changed my life, and not just one person. I want to build tribes of people. So that's how I want to change the world. And then the other one was what?
Or how do you want to change or challenge the world?
Yeah, so change the world by building tribe, challenge the world by calling everyone out.
Oh, I like that.
And allowing myself to be called out.
Yes, that's the best thing. Get yourself called out as well, because that's how you grow.
Yeah, I mean, you can call me out. Luckily, I use video, so I kind of have proof for a lot of things. So, like, I'm not perfect, but I guess that's fine.
None of us are. None of us are perfect. If we were, we could step right into our graves right now, because then we've got nothing more to learn.
You have nothing to do.
No. Thank you so much for being with us here today, Nik. It's midnight, or it's over past midnight now. Thank you so much for staying up so late and for sharing your wisdom and your creativity and passion with us. You can find out more about Nik, thevisualera.com. and about his business cards, video business cards, and the academy. And there's probably some more links, his favorite book, his favorite quote, and where you can find him on social media and in his group. Thank you so much for being with us here today, Nik.
Thank you so much, Sashka. Thanks for doing this.
No worries. And we'll have you on again soon, and we look forward to it. Have a good evening. Sleep well. Morning.
Yeah, I'm going to bed. Good night.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. Bye-bye. Dang, that was just supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I enjoyed having you on board, and please do me and you a favor. Head on over to iTunes, SoundCloud, or Stitcher. Click subscribe, and a super bonus, leave your review and you stand a chance of being announced and advertised on the show. I'm always striving to ensure that your brand is uplifted and empowered. Remember, done is better than perfect. So be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and send in your feedback too. You're the absolute best. Keep rocking.